Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for this 50th episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. For this episode, I've got a couple of guests from today, plus I've dug out a few classics from the interview archives. Guests in this episode include stand-up comedian Preacher Lawson, comedian, actor, podcaster Gilbert Gottfried. Michael Ian Black will talk about his new book. Chief Master Sergeant Randy Kay talks about being in the Dream Chopper competition. And I also going to share a great visit with music legend Yanni from about 3 years ago. If you would, please take the time to subscribe, drop a like, comment, leave some feedback, and share with your friends. Our first guest comes from a year ago with his latest stand-up special. Here's Preacher Lawson. All right, guys, promised you another very special guest, and one of my favorite comedians over the last several years. You know him from America's Got Talent. Brand new, actually the first stand-up special for him. Preacher Lawson on the line with us, and first off, Mr. Lawson, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate you.
And we talked about the new stand-up special, and man, Preacher, what was it like to finally have the release and have that under your belt? How much relief and excitement with the release?
Man, it was just, I don't really know how to explain how I'm feeling right now and how I'm feeling with the whole situation, man, because it's just so cool, man. It's just a dream come true. I get to release my special. I think a special one. It was shot well and it was funny. I think it was good, man. Yeah, man. I'm really happy to be in this position. And, I just want to warn everybody, if you're gonna watch the special, maybe get a diaper before you watch it, because you're gonna pee on yourself. It's hilarious. All right, it's so funny. All right. Have you not cried lately? Because you're gonna cry when you watch the special. I know that. It's good stuff, man. I heard the jokes before and I was cracking up. I laugh every time I watch it. They're my jokes. But anyway, I think you should check it out. It's fine.
Now, since America's Got Talent, the road has changed. The road of your life has changed immensely. And what's the biggest difference in your day-to-day life now as opposed to before that? Was it just the phone ringing?
Yeah. The phone rings a little bit more now. I get called, "Hey, Preacher, can I get some money?" And I'm like, "All right, well, I don't know your name." And it works out a little bit better. So since I was on the show, it just opened a lot more doors. And, I'm in a better position. I feel blessed to be in this position. And I just get to do a lot more shows, and I get more opportunities to get in front of more people. You know what I mean? It's a pretty cool. Yeah, that show has changed my life. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
And a lot of folks, we know the story going to vegan for yourself, and you've got a cooking show. Which presents more of a challenge for you, doing a cooking show or a stand-up comedy act?
Well, I think the hardest part is when I'm telling people I'm vegan, because that means I'm gonna no longer have them as fans. So it's like, the hardest part for me is like doing the cooking show. Because doing stand-up, I just walk on stage. I kind of do my thing. That's what, you kind of applauded for authenticity. With my cooking show, it's like, I call it cooking with a comedian. And you get some people complain, he's like, "You're not even a real chef." And I'm like, "I'm not. I agree." That's why I titled Cooking with a Comedian. So, yeah, I just cook random stuff and I be myself, But I don't like cooking. So it's like, I like eating. I like the after product. I'm so down with that. Like, if I could just skip the cook part and then just go to the food, that's my favorite part. That's why I go to restaurants all the time. Thank God I can afford them now.
There you go. Now, Preacher, a lot of folks and entertainers, you see them off the stage, away from the lights and all that, and they're a different person. But how close are you to the stage product when you're not on the stage?
I think the stage is definitely an amplified version of myself, but I'm pretty much the same individual. I'm the same guy. You know what I mean? I'm not, if it's me one-on-one talking to someone, some people, they're always like, "Man, you're different." It's like, why would I be yelling right now? It's just what do you want me to, hey, what's up with you? And like, I just like, come on, man, So,
Now,
I pretty like them.
you talked about the special, and what was it like getting the immediate response? I mean, that's something different about stand-up comedy now with social media. Getting the immediate response from the viewers, and how cool is that? Getting the support that you got.
It was so cool, man. I mean, it's just such a weird feeling right now. It's just the greatest feeling. I just feel like I was about to cry the whole entire day. I was so happy. I was like, stop, get out of here, man. Don't cry. And I'm like, man, I should have cried. Anyway, when I was on the show, man, I was they surprised me with seeing my mom, and I hadn't seen my mom in years, so I was excited about that. And then I tried not to cry then, and then I was like, why didn't I cry, man? I could have got the golden buzzer. I don't know why. I was here trying to hold my emotions in. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, Preacher, going around all over the world, I know you were down in Oklahoma not too long ago over at in Lawton, and if folks want to find out more information, catch up with you as you're out on the road, where they can keep up with that information?
Oh, they can just go to PreacherLawson.com, go on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Tinder, BlackSeasMeat.com, whatever you want to go on, I am right there. And it has all my information there. But yeah, I was in Oklahoma not that long ago, and it was raining, and it was really weird bipolar weather because it'd be sun out, it'd be rain, but the sun was just out, so it would be hot rain, and it's raining boiling water. It was weird. It was weird. Then it would be cold. It would be freezing cold, and out of nowhere, I just looked down at my arms, and it looked like I had gloves on because my hands were so ashy. And it's like it's just such a weird weather. And then we did casinos, and casinos are a big thing down there. Yep. They like casinos. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not a huge gambler, and then but being around it, I was like, you know what, man? Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can win some money. So yeah, Oklahoma's pretty cool, man. Definitely more country than I remember.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you talked about the weather. Yeah, welcome to Southwest Oklahoma. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, it just does whatever it wants to do, man. Like it's like, I'm just gonna rain today. Never mind. I don't want to rain. Well, you know what? How about a rain? Well, you want some sun? How about it be nighttime? I'm just gonna no more sun and just wait.
That's awesome. Well, Preacher, again, the new special, Get to Know Me, it debuted exclusively on BET. You can follow him online and also check out his tour. Preacher, always good to visit with you, and look forward to talking again real soon, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out my special, Get to Know Me, on BET Plus. Love y'all so much.
Also, last year had the opportunity around Valentine's Day to visit with, the voice, Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert, thanks for taking the time to be on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Gilbert, as it is Valentine's Day, you've got this podcast, you've got so many other things going on right now, and wanted to give you an opportunity, first off, to talk about the podcast that you've been working with.
Yeah, it's Gilbert Gottfried's amazing, colossal podcast, and I concentrate on old Hollywood. Like I've had on Sandler from Sandler and Young. They used to be this singing team that would go on every variety show, and one was Sandler was Belgium, and the other one was American, and they'd sing in like sort of two different languages. They'd harmonize. And then I had on Dick Van Dyke, Cole Reiner, Bruce Dern. I had on this woman who, when she was a little girl, was in this movie Ghost of Frankenstein with Lon Chaney Jr. and Bela Lugosi.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Now, what has been maybe one of the biggest highlights for you so far doing the podcast?
There's been a bunch. I mean, it's just these people that, I just can't, I was in Dick Van Dyke's house interviewing him. He was terrific. And we had on this, he was an old kiddie show host on a show called Wonderama, and it's Sonny Fox, and he's in his 90s, and I was expecting an interview that was kids say the darndest things kind of interview. And he came on, and he served during World War II and was held, he and his troop were held prisoner by the Nazis. And he talked about that experience. And I thought, oh my God, you know, when you're surprised by what the guests will come out with.
That's pretty awesome. And are you surprised by the popularity of the podcast, or was it something that maybe you expected going in?
No, this is something I thought. I'm concentrating on old Hollywood. A lot of these people, nobody remembers or never knew in the first place. They're too young. And what I'm always happy about is I'll get these messages when people say, I had no idea who you were talking to, but I really loved listening to what they had to say, and I've been checking them out on YouTube.
That is a great compliment. I know that's for sure. And well, with Valentine's Day in mind, obviously, what are your big Valentine's plans for today?
Just to get away without buying my wife any presents. And I've been sending out Valentine's Day greetings because I'm on this thing, Cameo, www.cameo.com/Gilbert Gottfried. So I send out video shout-outs to people. I sent out one congratulating someone on their sex change operation yesterday. It just shows there's no limit to what I'll drop to. You
pay, we'll play, right?
Yes, exactly.
Now, Gilbert, what over the span of your career? I mean, how amazing is it for you to look back as Gilbert at the age of 15 doing stand up to where you are today?
It's very weird because the other thing I think about all the years since I was 15, where I was just going to these like non-paying showcase clubs every single night for years. And whenever I get depressed, like everybody, when they think about their career, they get those states of depression where they go, I'm nowhere, you know, I should have been bigger than this or whatever. I always think, like these millions of people that over the years I would see performing the same nights I was, and whatever happened to them. Like some just fell off the earth, it seems like. And then I think, like, you know, me, I'm like, you know, I'm movies, television, radio. I'm constantly doing live shows, and I think these other people, what happened to them?
And Gilbert, what do you attribute that to? I mean, how hard is it for you to adapt as things have changed? Obviously, things have changed just a little bit since you came in the industry.
Oh yeah, it's like, well, you know, I feel like when I started out, when I went on stage at 15, I had stupidity on my side, and I had stupidity to keep me in it, because I never thought in terms of the odds against even making rent money on in show business, let alone you know, to actually have a career. And then to this day, I feel like show business is a party I snuck into, and one day a guy's going to walk over to me with a clipboard and say, no, your name's not on the guest list, sorry.
You owe us big time.
Yeah.
Well, again, the website, check out the podcast, Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast. Also, be sure and send out some Valentine's greetings, cameo.com/Gilbert Gottfried.
And my website's gilbertgottfried.com.
All right. Well, Gilbert, it's always great to visit with you, and look forward to talking to you again real soon, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Earlier today, had the chance to visit with comedian, screenwriter, and so many other things, including children's author Michael Ian Black, talking about his latest book. Michael, first off, always good to visit with you, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Cameron. Glad to be here.
Now, Michael, tell us a little bit about the new book, A Better Man, a mostly serious letter to my son. I mean, when did you first get the inspiration to write the new book?
I started writing it last year when my son was a senior in high school, and I knew he was going to be leaving home for college. And I wanted to have a conversation with him about being a guy out in the world, a conversation that I wasn't able to have with my own dad because he died when I was young. And so the book is a letter to my kid. You know, it's a letter of, as he goes out the door for the world. This is what I think it's like to be a guy.
And for you, folks know you as comedy and bringing laughs. And for this to be a mostly serious kind of look, was that difficult for you knowing to kind of put yourself out there, if you will?
I think it's hard for any comedian when you decide to undergo a project where you're not relying on laughs to make your point. I mean, it's a weirdly vulnerable thing for comedians to do because we define ourselves so much by the laughter as opposed to just having a thoughtful conversation with somebody. So it requires a certain amount of trust on behalf of a comedian. To put yourself out there like that, it's scary, no doubt.
And this year, has it been harder for you to find the funny places in life, or are you able to maybe see them a little bit better just because you're able to sit back and enjoy the view, maybe, if you will?
2020 I think has been a nightmare for pretty much everybody, and I guess I'm fortunate in a way that comedy has basically shut down this year, so I haven't felt the need to create a lot of laughs. I've been doing the best that I can to keep things light in my life and with my family, and I certainly make a lot of jokes on Twitter, but it would be foolish, and a lie to say that I have found this year to be particularly funny. I haven't.
And the book, I know that you tackle some things that men haven't necessarily been called to. I mean, it's just been grow up, be a man, be strong. What are some of the things that you delve into in the new book, Michael?
Well, I talk about a lot of stuff. In particular, it's I think there's a lot of conversation in the culture right now about redefining masculinity. And I'm not sure, and I know I don't agree with that, and I'm not sure I even know what that means. But what I do think we can do is expand our idea of masculinity, expand what we think of when we think of men, from just the kind of strong and silent type to somebody who is a kind of full spectrum human being, somebody who can be the strong and silent type at times, and somebody who also it can laugh and express sorrow and be vulnerable and comfort and nurture and do all the things that people already do, but associate that more strongly with what we think of when we think of men.
And what do you think it is about cutting off emotions in men? I know my father's generation was the same way. I'm an emotional mess. I mean, emotions hit me, so it's a little different. But what do you think it is that was so against showing emotion or God forbid, crying, right?
Well, for centuries, a guy's role was to protect and provide. And to become somebody who's capable of doing both of those things out in a cruel, cruel world, you had to exhibit a certain amount of strength and fortitude, and you couldn't let emotions get in the way. But the world is changing, And the jobs that men used to do, the being a soldier, being, working in a mine, working on an assembly line, jobs that required a lot of brawn and grit and fortitude, those jobs are changing. Women are moving into the workplace in record numbers. The culture is different, and men have to adapt and adjust, not only because it'll make us happier people, but also because just from a purely pragmatic point of view, like if you just want a job in today's economy, like you have to be able to, you can't just rely on your anger and your muscle to get the job done. Like you have to be an empathetic person who's able to cooperate with other people in a creative environment. I mean, that's where the jobs are.
And the end game of being a better man, what kind of talks did you have with your son, or maybe what was the response? Has he had a chance to read the book as well?
Yeah, I mean, it took him a long time, but he had, you put a book on your kid's night table, and chances are it's going to sit there, even if it's a book written to them. But I think the conversation that we have been having is a lifelong conversation. It's a conversation we've been having since, he was a baby, because the conversation is the ongoing conversation between father and son. And I like the guy that he's turning into. He's a very warm and funny young man, and he's got a lot of heart, and I'm really proud of him.
That's awesome. And again, the new book, A Better Man, a mostly serious letter to my son, Michael Ian Black. I want to make sure and let folks know where they can go out and pick up the book. I know it is available today as well.
It is available at all bookstores. So anywhere you buy a book, you could pick it up or order it.
All right. Well, Michael, if folks want to follow up everything that you got going on social media-wise, where would folks do that as well?
The easiest place is at Michael Ian Black on Twitter.
All right. Well, Michael, it's always great to visit with you. Looking forward to sharing this book with my son as well, and hope you have a great rest of your week, my friend.
Thanks, Kim, and I really appreciate it.
Chief Master Sergeant Randy Kay from Altus Air Force Base, and we kind of reconnected a couple weeks ago. And Randy, I'm going to let you kind of tell our listeners how did this whole thing come about? First off, with the Dream Chopper.
So a few weeks ago, I was just cruising the internet, looking at some stuff, and so Orange County Choppers is one of the sites that I happen to follow. I've always watched their shows and everything, and interested in their builds. And I noticed that they were going to be giving one lucky fan the opportunity to have a custom chopper built for them. And so you had to put in a little application, and then so I just put mine in, and then you just happened to pick it up. So it's been a couple of weeks, and it's about a 2.5 month long process from the start to finish. So if you win every week, ultimately you're going to win the motorcycle.
Wow. And so how far in are you at this point? Just about 2 weeks in, is that right?
Yes, sir. So we're on the second week of competition. So last week ended on Thursday, and then this one will end this Thursday. So as long as you keep making the cut, we're good. And so currently in my group, I'm in first place, and that ends on Thursday. And then it'll go into Group 3, where they'll whittle down half the competition again.
And how crazy would it be to have, because I know you're close to retirement as well. Would that be that would be the ultimate retirement, right?
So 100%, it would be an amazing retirement gift. If I were to be able to get on that show, they build me a custom bike, and basically I get to kind of ride that off into the sunset when I have my retirement ceremony. I think that would be amazing.
Now, where did your first love of motorcycles? Where did you first become enamored with the two wheels?
So I think I was probably about 6 years old. So when I was growing up, my dad, he rode dirt bikes with a bunch of his friends that he worked with. And so his boss, his son had a motorcycle, and he just got a new one. And so his old motorcycle was just kind of sitting out in the garage. And, I asked his boss, I was like, hey, if you want to give me that, I would love to have it. As a 6-year-old, I didn't understand money or anything like that. So I didn't realize later that my dad had to buy that from him. But, he's like, sure, you can have it. So that was how I got my very first motorcycle.
And have there been lapses where you kind of gotten too busy and haven't had the time on the bike like you wish you had?
So actually, 100%. So my last base, I was stationed at Tinker Air Force Base, so just up the road in Oklahoma City, and I had a 2007 Harley Davidson Electric Glide, and I rode it to work almost every day. And then I got hired to be the command chief here at Altus Air Force Base, and it was, hey, I'm probably not going to have a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time to get on the motorcycle and just go out for a ride. So I have not ridden in a little over 2 years just due to the position that I'm in.
Now, when you talk about the bikes that you've had before, obviously Orange County, they put it up a whole new notch. But what are maybe some of the favorite little projects that you've done on bikes you've had in the past?
So really, the last motorcycle I did, it had just kind of straight handlebars on it, and I always wanted a motorcycle with the big ape hangers, where your arms are up above your shoulders, and so I rewired it with a friend, and we put those big ape hangers on there, and that was the last thing I really did, and then just odds and ends tinkering and stuff like that.
Now I'm not a biker myself. I mean, I love seeing a beautiful bike. I'd love to get on one, but every time I've done so, all the way back to my teens, I've laid it down. So I stay off of them. I just look at them from afar, but never ridden on one of those with the ape hangers. I always wondered, does that hurt your arms?
So actually, it's really comfortable for the ride when you're just so. It's all about seat position and where your feet are. Your arms are just going to kind of hang there anyway. You're going to let one of them kind of sit in your lap, and you're just going to kind of steer it with your right hand most of the time, unless you're getting into traffic.
And now, how far away is retirement for you? Like I said, this is about a 2.5 month journey. How close is that going to put you to the end?
Well, so I will hit 30 years of service on September 11th, 2021. My date of separation from the United States Air Force to become a retiree will be on 30 September 2021. So I'll have served 30 years and 18 days. But you back up all that leave and everything, and the 97th is going to have their wing change of command in June timeframe. So immediately following that change of command is when I'm going to actually retire and kind of be done with the Air Force. As a suit wearing active duty Air Force member. So June 2021. But I've been part of the Air Force for the last 30 years. I can't imagine that I'm not still going to be part of the Air Force some way, shape, or form after that.
Now looking back, you talk about coming up on 30 years, approaching 30 years. What have you learned most from your time in the military?
So what I learned and what I continue to learn is there's a time that you can speak, and there's a time that you should not.
That's a good one. And how hard of a lesson is that sometimes, right?
So sometimes it's a big lesson, because, if you overspeak when you shouldn't be speaking at all, you're going to get in trouble. Whether you just said something inappropriately, or you just kind of overstepped your authority or lack of authority, really.
What would you say are maybe the highlights of the time that you've spent in the Air Force? Is it the travels? Is it maybe some of the meetings that you've had?
So that's actually a really tough question, and it's kind of the question that I get most of the time when I talk to the airmen on base. So me personally, the number one thing that I've enjoyed over the last few years really is making an impact on their lives. But the Air Force has been awesome to me. It's given me an education, from a very educated kid from Collinsville, Oklahoma, to having a master's degree and traveling the world and seeing 47 different countries and every state in the union. I think that's pretty amazing as well. But it's really the people.
That's right. Now, Randy, if folks want to get on and vote, how many times can they vote? Where can they vote? All that information.
So a real quick rundown. So you have to be signed up with Facebook to be able to vote. Okay. So you have to have a Facebook account. And then if you go to so you can go to my site, Randy K on Facebook and find me. But if you just wanted to look, you can go to the Orange County site, or you can go to the customchopper.com and then search by Randy K. And when you do that, it'll pull it up, and you'll see me, my big bald head and everything.
I know how that wears.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, but the site allows you to vote once a day, and if somebody wanted to purchase votes, you can purchase votes, and I think half of their profit goes towards a local SPCA up there in New York, and then all the votes go to the individual that you buy a vote for.
Now, if you were to get to the point and you got to go pick up the bike, how much would you be geeking out at the opportunity to see Paul and just talk with him personally about the work?
So I'll start with the winning piece. So the winning piece, you actually get to be featured in a magazine. You get to be on the front of the magazine, so that's pretty cool. You're gonna get that 15 minutes of fame anyway, right there.
There
and
you
then
go.
getting to be on one of the shows on Orange County Shopper while they're doing the build for you. You get to be right there. I don't know if he's going to let me turn some wrenches if I were to win, but that's what I'm going to ask. It's like, hey, can I bend some of that metal? Can I, maybe put the gas in it for the first time, something like that. But I would probably be like a, giddy like a schoolgirl, I guess is the correct saying.
They might not ever be able to get a helmet big enough for you then from that point on, right?
Exactly.
Well, Randy, best of luck to you. Glad you made it through last week. Continued success this week, and hopefully we can keep the listeners updated and keep you moving along, my friend.
All right. Hey, thanks, Cameron. I really appreciate it all.
And our final guest, like I mentioned earlier, music legend Yanni. This interview from about 3 years ago, but one from the archives I wanted to celebrate this 50th episode with. First off, Yanni, thanks so much for taking some time to be on with us this morning.
Good morning, Cameron. It's my pleasure to be here. It's great.
Now, Yanni, got some new music out. Also, a great new PBS special that was shot in another amazing setting for you there at the Great Pyramids of Egypt. And what is the inspiration behind the new music that you've got out?
Well, this one is going to be released tomorrow. Actually, the Senseless Chill. And that one, it's a very unique album. I have never made an album like this before. I hope people will enjoy it. It's taken me 5 years to put it all together. I took my time. I worked with some of the best musicians and producers and engineers from all over the world. So it has a very special color and texture to it that no other of my albums have. And I wanted to create a project, and it was a conceptual project, that it is, first of all, it's consistent. It creates an environment for the listener that is, first of all, senseless. It is melodious. It is rhythmic. It has to be sexy. And it has to last for a long time. And so I put 17 songs on it, 10 of which have never been released before. So it's like put it on repeat and let it play.
This is what I've heard is the perfect, brilliant chill-out album, and of course it is called Sensuous Chill. Now, Yanni, a lot of folks that have seen you over the years would expect that you were a classically trained musician from the beginning, but that's not necessarily the truth.
No, I'm a self-taught musician. I know a lot of people think I have studied classical music. I've gone to conservatories and all that stuff, but I think that would have eventually, at the beginning, it may have helped me, but I think eventually it would have polluted my mind because they are very strict and their way they do music, and so they would try to tell me how music is done. And music is not done. It's felt, it's an emotion, it's a passion, it's the knowledge that you accumulate through your life, and it's your soul speaking. And there are no rules in music. Music is liquid.
And of course, so many folks know you from the brilliant videos, the brilliant performances at amazing sites across the world. Is there any one site that really sticks out for you as a place that you've played that you look back and just like it blew me away to play there?
A lot of them, every one of them. I mean, how could you not get blown away playing in front of the Parthenon in Greece or in the Forbidden City in China? You have to remember, I did that concert in 1997. 97, China was not the China we know today. It's not an easy task. Then playing in front of the Taj Mahal in India, and now the pyramids in Egypt. Oh my God, that is probably the best video and audio recording I have ever made, and it's shot in 4K. So it's going to be phenomenal when it premieres on PBS on March 8th, I think.
That is amazing. And is it your life travels and all that has really melded the music that you that has inspired you?
That's a great observation. Absolutely correct. It has to do with my music is not manufactured. I do not write music because it's in or hip or now. This is what people listen to today, and tomorrow we have to do something else. I only speak what's in my heart. I tell the truth, the best I know, and the more I travel and the more cultures I take in and the more knowledge I accumulate about humanity and instrumentation and musical attitudes and everything else, it goes inside me, and it all eventually has to be expressed somehow, and that's what people hear in the music.
And like you said, it's not necessarily about being hip or playing what is popular at the current time, but you speak to people's hearts, and obviously they are grasping that as over 500 million people have seen you and heard your music in over 100 countries. And looking back on the inspiration that you've been able to give to people all over the world, how does that make you feel?
It's stunning to me. I mean, when I was a kid and I thought someday I would write some music and maybe people will enjoy it and become semi-famous, but I could never dream of what has happened. It is really amazing to be able to speak and have the whole planet listening.
And the shows, they're not just a concert. It's a full extravaganza. It's a full instrumentation and everything. It's an amazing event. It's not just a concert.
Thank you for saying that. It's true. I know besides the music, I use the music to help people forget about their troubles and their problems for a couple of hours, get them out of their anxiety or anger or aggressiveness or aggression, whatever is plaguing them at the time. Open their hearts, open their minds, and then I use words and I use notes and melodies to ease their pain and take them into a higher place and make them feel good and be optimistic about the future. And I want them to feel great on their way home and say, I came to this concert thinking, okay, what's he going to do now? I'm going to hear some music. It's beyond that, and it has gone beyond that for me. It's about the message.
That is right. And once again, the new music out tomorrow. And Yanni, where can people pick it up? Obviously, iTunes and several other places.
Everywhere. If they're not sure about the tickets or about the albums or the video when it comes out, it's Yanni.com. It's very easy. You go there, you'll find everything you need.
All right. Well, once again, truly an honor and a privilege to visit with you this morning. Yanni, been a big fan for many years, and anytime you want to come back, the phone line, the door is open for you.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you, Cameron. I will take you up on it.
Again, thanks for joining me for this 50th episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. And if you ever have a comment, a question, or anything else, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at GQwithCam. If you'd like to help out in the funding for the podcast, feel free to click the support tab and follow the instructions. If you have a special guest idea, email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. I would also like to send some special thanks out on this 50th episode to Monarch Broadcasting, who gave me a shot almost 20 years ago when nobody else would. Also, my good friend Jerry Butler, he's always inspired me with his work ethic, his love of life, also being a great sounding board and class of 91 alum to boot. Brandon Allen came up with the new music that we've all been enjoying. Jordan Guyton, he took the inspiration from our first episode, came up with the logo design. My friend RJ, he endures endless text and logo review requests, and some of those going on even as this episode progresses. Smiley's Breezy Vapes for always supporting my endeavors, my family for the support and patience as I learn yet another avenue of communication, the guests who have found me worthy of spending their time in conversation with, my daughter for the help keeping up on socials, and my wife Lindsay for being my #1 supporter and critic. Right? We'll be back with episode number 51 coming up tomorrow.